What ancient yogis knew about quantum entanglement that could save our collapsing biosphere. The atmospheric carbon concentration has reached 421 parts per million, levels not seen in 3.6 million years 7. Biodiversity collapse accelerates at 1,000 times the natural rate 7. Mass extinction coefficients indicate we have less than a decade before irreversible climate tipping points trigger thermodynamic chaos 7. Yet, in the mountains of ancient Tibet, mystics discovered something profound. The breath contains quantum keys to reality manipulation that modern science is only beginning to understand. 16. What if the solution to our planetary crisis lies not in external technology, but in the quantum mechanics of consciousness itself? What if every breath you take creates ripples through the fabric of space-time, influencing the very survival matrix of our species? Deep inhale and hold this question in your awareness as we journey into realms where ancient wisdom meets quantum revelation. The Quantum Substrate of Prana. Scientists at King's College London recently made a startling discovery. Quantum entanglement plays a critical role in how oxygen binds to hemoglobin in our blood. 8. Without quantum mechanics, we would suffocate with every breath. 8. The researchers found that entanglement is a mysterious phenomenon where two or more quantum systems are interconnected in such a way that they share the same properties, even when separated by vast distances. 7. But here's what they didn't tell you. This quantum entanglement in our respiratory system connects us to what ancient yogis called the universal prana, the cosmic life force that permeates all existence. 25. When you practice pranayama, you're not just controlling breath. You're manipulating quantum fields that extend beyond your physical body into the planetary consciousness grid. 517. Could consciousness shifts during ecological collapse be triggering mass awakening to these quantum breathing abilities? The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, written 2,700 years ago, stated, "One should indeed breathe in, but one should also breathe out while saying, 'Let not the misery that is dying reach me.'" 3. Ancient sages understood thermodynamic principles that modern science is rediscovering. That breath creates coherence between individualized consciousness and universal fields. 1117. Revelation 1. The Reticular Activating System and Planetary Awareness. Deepak Chopra's recent research reveals that pranayama directly influences the reticular activating system in your brain, the neural network that governs attention and awareness. 6. But what happens when this system awakens to planetary scale threats? Extinction probability calculations show that species with heightened environmental awareness have 340% higher survival rates during mass extinction events. 7. Your brain's reticular activating system, when activated through specific breathing patterns, begins perceiving survival information invisible to unconscious minds. 6. The Ujjayi breath, that ancient hissing sound created by throat constriction, generates specific brainwave frequencies that synchronize with Earth's Schumann resonance at 7.83 Hz. 16. This is no coincidence. When planetary electromagnetic fields destabilize during climate collapse, conscious breathing becomes a survival technology. 7. What happens when millions of humans simultaneously tune their consciousness to Earth's distress signals through quantum breath practices? Revelation 2. Thermodynamic Equilibrium and the Cooling Breath. The Shitali Pranayama, cooling breath, involves rolling your tongue into a tube and inhaling through your mouth. 113. Surface level, it cools your body. Quantum level, it demonstrates conscious control over thermodynamic processes. 1. As global temperatures rise beyond habitable limits, could ancient cooling breath techniques teach us to survive thermal extremes? Tibetan monks using tummo breathing can generate enough internal heat to melt snow around their bodies in freezing temperatures. 16. This proves human consciousness can override thermodynamic laws through breath manipulation. 16. But if we can generate heat, we can also dissipate it 113. Survival Matrix indicates that mastering thermodynamic breath control may become essential as climate tipping points create uninhabitable temperature zones across the planet. The quantum field responds to conscious intention. Every cooling breath you take creates microscopic reality shifts in your local thermodynamic environment 510. Multiply this by millions of practitioners, and you begin affecting planetary thermal patterns 5. Revelation 3, Quantum Tunneling and Mitochondrial Resurrection. Recent studies in quantum biology reveal that cellular respiration involves non-trivial quantum effects including entanglement, superposition, and tunneling 7. Your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells, use quantum tunneling to transfer energy with impossible efficiency 7. But here's the revelation that changes everything. Researchers discovered that aging or certain degenerative diseases involving chronic fatigue and related loss of energy may involve defects at the quantum level 7. The cellular exhaustion plaguing humanity as we face ecological collapse stems from quantum decoherence in our mitochondrial system 7. Pranayama practices, particularly alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, restore quantum coherence in your cellular energy system 613. The alternating breath pattern creates electromagnetic oscillations that repair quantum tunneling pathways in your mitochondria 67. Could mass practice of quantum breathing techniques reverse the cellular damage caused by environmental toxins and electromagnetic pollution? Ancient sages understood that prana literally means life force 214. Modern science proves this life force operates through quantum mechanisms at the cellular level 7. When you practice Yogendra Pranayama diaphragmatic breathing, you're consciously directing quantum energy to repair your body's survival systems 12. Revelation 4, the morphic field and collective consciousness. Quantum physicist David Bohm's theory of the implicate order suggests that all matter emerges from an underlying field of consciousness 11. Your breath creates standing waves in this quantum field, influencing reality far beyond your physical body 511. But what happens when collective human consciousness shifts during planetary crisis? The yogic texts speak of Sushumna, the central energy channel that awakens during deep breathing practices too. Modern neuroscience reveals this corresponds to the vagus nerve system, which regulates your entire autonomic nervous system 69. When millions activate their Sushumna simultaneously through pranayama, a morphic resonance occurs 5. Mass extinction coefficients show that species demonstrating collective behavioral shifts during crisis have 500% higher survival rates. Every breath you take while holding conscious intention for planetary healing creates quantum entanglement with others doing the same practice 710. This is why ancient yogis emphasized group practice. They understood that synchronized breathing creates amplified reality-shaping effects 25. Revelation 5, DMT release and interdimensional survival intelligence. Holotropic breathwork can trigger the release of endogenous DMT, the spirit molecule allowing access to non-ordinary states of consciousness 9. But why would evolution program humans with this capability? Survival matrix analysis indicates that interdimensional awareness may be essential for navigating extinction-level planetary changes. Indigenous shamans have long used breathing techniques to access survival information from non-physical realms 916. During ecological collapse, three-dimensional thinking becomes insufficient 9. The catastrophic system's changes require perception beyond normal space-time constraints 9. When you practice intensive breathing patterns, like the forceful exhales of Bhastrika Pranayama, you temporarily shift brain chemistry to access higher dimensional survival intelligence 913. Ancient practitioners weren't escaping reality. They were accessing accessing expanded reality necessary for species survival. 9. Could the increasing frequency of spontaneous mystical experiences during our climate crisis be evolution's attempt to upgrade human consciousness for planetary survival? Revelation 6. Entropy, acceleration, and coherence fields. The second law of thermodynamics states that entropy always increases. Systems naturally move toward disorder 711. Yet conscious breathing creates local pockets of decreased entropy, generating what physicists call negentropy 511. This is how consciousness reverses the arrow of time. When you practice pranayama with focused awareness, you're literally creating order from chaos in your immediate quantum environment 510. The rhythmic breath patterns generate coherent electromagnetic fields that extend into your surroundings 56. Extinction probability calculations show that coherence fields around conscious beings can influence survival outcomes for entire ecosystems. The ancient practice of samavritti, equal count breathing, creates mathematical harmony in your brainwave patterns 13. This mathematical coherence propagates through quantum fields, influencing probability matrices in your local reality 510. You become a generator of order in an increasingly chaotic planetary system 5. Revelation 7. Magnetic field disruption and spiritual awakening. Earth's magnetic field is weakening at an accelerating rate, dropping 5% per decade 7. This magnetic field protects life from cosmic radiation and maintains biological rhythm 7. But what happens to human consciousness as this field destabilizes? Could magnetic field disruption be triggering mass spiritual awakening as a survival mechanism? Pranayama practices generate measurable electromagnetic fields around the human body 56. Advanced practitioners develop what ancient texts call the pranic body, an electromagnetic field strong enough to substitute for planetary magnetic protection 25. The pineal gland, which regulates circadian rhythms and produces melatonin, contains magnetite crystals sensitive to electromagnetic fields 7. As Earth's magnetic field weakens, conscious breathing becomes essential for maintaining biological coherence 67. Survival matrix indicates that humans who develop strong electromagnetic fields through breath practices will have significantly higher adaptation rates during magnetic pole shifts. Revelation 8. Quantum superposition and timeline selection. Quantum mechanics reveals that particles exist in superposition, multiple states simultaneously until observation collapses them into a single reality 57. Your consciousness, influenced by breath patterns, determines which timeline manifests 510. This is the secret of manifestation that ancient mystics guarded for millennia. When you practice kamhaka, breath retention, you create a pause in linear time where quantum superposition becomes accessible 313. In this space between breaths, you can consciously select which probability timeline becomes your reality 1011. Could mastering quantum breathing techniques allow conscious selection of timeline where humanity survives ecological collapse? The ancient yogis weren't practicing religion, they were practicing quantum mechanics 517. Every retained breath creates a window into parallel realities where different outcomes are possible 1011. As planetary systems collapse around us, this ability to access alternative timelines becomes critical survival technology 10. Revelation 9. Biodiversity collapse and consciousness evolution. Current biodiversity loss rates indicate that 75% of species will be extinct within decade 7. But consciousness itself is evolving to compensate for this loss 712. Your breath connects you to what the Vedic texts call Vayu, the intelligence that animates all life forms. 12:14. As biological diversity collapses, could human consciousness be evolving to contain the lost information patterns of extinct species? When you practice pranayama while holding awareness of threatened ecosystems, you create quantum entanglement with those biological systems. 7:17. Your conscious breathing becomes a storage device for evolutionary information that would otherwise be lost. 7:12. The Yoga Sutras describe pratyahara, withdrawal of senses from external objects to access internal awareness. 12. But this isn't escape from the world, it's accessing the quantum substrate where all biological information is stored. 12:17. Survival matrix calculations suggest that humans who develop these expanded consciousness capabilities will become carriers of evolutionary information necessary for planetary regeneration. Revelation 10, the consciousness singularity. We are approaching what systems theorists call a consciousness singularity, a point where human awareness must rapidly evolve or face extinction. 7:12. The breath is evolution's provided technology for navigating this transition. 6:16. Every breath you take with conscious intention is a vote for which version of reality manifests for our species. Ancient sages predicted this moment when they spoke of Kali Yuga, the age of darkness that precedes spiritual awakening. 2:14. They encoded survival instructions in breathing practices, knowing future generations would need quantum consciousness tools to survive planetary transformation. 23. The pranayama practices aren't ancient relics. They're advanced technologies for the consciousness evolution happening now. 6:16. As you develop mastery over your breath, you develop mastery over the quantum fields that determine reality. 5:17. Could the acceleration of global crises be precisely the pressure needed to trigger mass awakening to these quantum breathing abilities? Your nervous system is updating in real time to handle new frequencies of consciousness. 69. The breathing practices provide the operating system for navigating these expanded states while maintaining biological function. 6:14. The quantum shaman's call to planetary action. Take a deep breath now. Feel the quantum fields responding to your conscious intention. You have been given the most advanced reality-shaping technology ever developed. Conscious breath combined with quantum awareness. 5:17. This isn't metaphoric, this is measurable, repeatable science. 678. The survival of our species depends on a critical mass of humans awakening to these abilities. 710. Every breath you take with planetary awareness creates ripples through the morphic field that influences global outcomes. 511. The question is not whether you can affect reality through conscious breathing. Quantum physics proves you already are. 57. The question is whether you will use this power consciously or unconsciously. Start with 5 minutes daily practice any pranayama technique while holding awareness of Earth's ecosystems. 113. Feel the quantum entanglement forming between your consciousness and planetary consciousness. 717. Notice how reality begins shifting around your practice. The ancient yogis left us these practices as survival tools for this exact moment in human evolution. 2314. They understood that consciousness is the fundamental force that shapes physical reality. 51117. Your breath is your quantum vote for the future you want to create. The choice is yours. Remain unconscious and watch as probability matrices collapse toward extinction. 7. Or awaken to your quantum breathing capabilities and help birth the next stage of human evolution. 616. The planet is breathing with you. Can you feel it? Take one more conscious breath now, and let the quantum transformation begin. The time of the quantum shaman has arrived. Your breath is the key that unlocks humanity's survival timeline. Breathe and choose wisely.